All right, we are live. Welcome. Sorry, a couple minutes late, but we're still back with another live stream. I see Courtney is on. Thank you so much, Courtney, for joining. Uh, Hopefully, we'll have a few more people coming on, so let's give it a couple minutes to see who else shows up. We got a couple people watching right now. But yeah, take a moment, say hello. We're here to chat once again about my favorite thing in the world, Freemasonry, but that doesn't mean we can't take a few minutes to chat about anything else we want to chat about. Going well, Paul Bear Ravenstone. Going very well. How about you? How's it going with you? Thank you so much for jumping in the chat and joining us. Also, I don't know for sure, but the bear, Paul Bear, is that a reference to wrestling at all? Because if it is, well done, sir. I really appreciate it. Just give it a few more minutes to see see who else joins. Usually it takes about 10 minutes for majority of people to start coming on, but we'll give it a bit of time. Going good so far, a little crazy at work, but nothing unmanageable. Good. Well, I'm glad it's not unmanageable. I find there's like a nice balance. It's also true in Freemasonry, right? There's like, if you're too swamped, then it's not enjoyable and it's just exhausting. But if it's too quiet and slow, things can, things end up going really slowly. So I like to find a good balance between how much work you're putting in, time and effort. Bear is because my girlfriend's best friend saw me for the first time and said I was a scary bear of a person. I'm sure that you're a very nice person, sir. It's funny. In my experience, and from what I understand, most bears, it's like anything else, right? They're pretty gentle as a rule, unless you get between them and their cubs or something to that effect. I find oftentimes I've been told bears can be actually quite kind of gentle giants, which I'm sure is true of you as well, Paul. Gareth, hey bro, been a while. Hope all is well with you. Yeah, things are going great with me. Thank you so much for jumping in the chat. Hope that you are doing well also. Today we're going to be talking about, I think, the same thing we talked about yesterday because we didn't have a big turnout for yesterday's live chat. I'm going to put it in the chat. But Gareth, let me know how you're doing as well. Anybody else who's joining us, don't forget to hit the like button if you can. That helps other people find us. What is the purpose of Freemasonry? I think that is the question I want to talk about today on the chat. Now, if you are a Freemason, then you can answer that based on, again, your experiences. If you're not, maybe you can answer that based on what you think, based on what you've seen in news or media or on my podcast, what you think the purpose is. But we can talk about anything else you guys want to talk about as well. It doesn't just have to be about Freemasonry. I just found out today's the anniversary of one of my favorite horror movies, Dr. Giggles, which was released, I'm not sure how many years ago today, 30 something. Let me see quickly. Going to go into the X feed. Came out on this date in 1992, apparently. Oh, there it is. Have you seen the Simpsons episode with the Freemasons? Yes, I have. Everybody has. Homer the Great, it's called. The Stonecutters episode, which, by the way, is a great episode. I think it's very I think most Masons realize how great it is, but I think a lot of other people don't. So yeah, it's a great episode. Homer the Great, it's called. So yeah, I'm very fond of it myself. But welcome everybody who's jumping on. Please hit the like button if you can. That means other people will find it, as well as the subscribe button. Morning, Courtney. Thank you so much for joining. Also, if you want to, let us know where you're from. Courtney, we know you're from Texas, so great to have you back. But Gareth, Paul, anybody else watching this, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you can, and also let us know where you're from in the chat. And if you're a Mason, and if you're not a Mason, if you have any questions about Freemasonry, like I was saying, kind of our topic of conversation today is what is the purpose of Freemasonry, or what do we think of as the purpose of Freemasonry? But there's plenty of other things we can talk about as well, such as, I just found this out, which I think is kind of cool. Yes, Gareth, London, UK, that's right. I remember, not a Mason, but enjoyed chatting with you before about Freemasonry, which is awesome. So it's great to have you back. Let me know, Gareth, what you would say in your mind is based maybe even on our chats, what you would think of as the purpose of Freemasonry. Plymouth, Michigan, USA. We met the other day when you stopped at Ann Arbor Lodge. That's right. Okay. I was trying to think because Ravenstone, I was like, I don't know that name. Great to have you back. Great to see you again. I'm hoping maybe, as you recall, I have my official visit coming up for Border Cities Lodge on November 6th at 11 a.m. I know some of the Ann Arbor brothers who are there might be joining us, so it'd be great if you could join as well. And Paul, if you want to let me know, just like we were talking about, what in your mind is the purpose of Freemasonry, that would be great to hear. Awesome. We look forward to having you. When you come in, try to come in through the back doors if you can. There's a parking lot, there's back doors. Those are usually the ones that are open in the morning. We have our coffee club at 10 o'clock, but the meeting itself starts at 11. I'll make sure, though, that you get in. Awesome. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you. Frank, worshipful brother, thank you or W, I don't know if that W stands for worshipful, but Frank, thank you so much for joining. It was great, I guess, not meeting with you, but messaging with you on the X machine. Thank you so much for being part of the chat. If you guys are just joining, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you can. And also, we're talking about what, in our opinion, might be the purpose of Freemasonry, or what you think the purpose is. Gareth, based on our chats and his involvement here, said the purpose is to build a community who work towards shared goals, I guess, at its core. Thank you so much, Gareth, for that. I think that's a great answer. Let me know if anybody else has any ideas or anything else you want to chat about. For me, the purpose is just traveling a different path to morality. Okay, I think that's a good answer as well. And that brings up a very valid question also, right? Which is the path to morality, even within Freemasonry, going to be the same or different for people, right? So there's a lot of different types of journeys you can take in Freemasonry. Some become officers, some become worshipful masters, some stay on the sidelines? Is that all kind of leading to the same place, you think, in terms of Masonry, and what Masonry might mean, kind of thing, to two different people? Or do you think, and also the different path to morality, is it different paths in your mind leading to the same end location, or can those paths lead somewhere different as well? I would say absolutely different due to the individualness of it. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, Freemasonry is, I always describe it as a common purpose with an individual path, or individual experience towards a common purpose, kind of thing. Right. And that's why the commonness, or the sameness, if you want to use that word, of the ritual is so important, because it binds us all together. But even within that sameness, different people can perform ritual in slightly different ways with different emphasis. They can emphasize different words, all that type of stuff. Very well said and agreed. Gareth, morals aren't subjective to your job title. They must be the same for all, surely. So that would mean, so the end place, Gareth, from what I read there, the end kind of, if I take what you mean, like the pathway might be different for everybody, but the end location is the same for morality. Because like I'm right now worshipful master of a lodge. There's other people who are not worshipful masters. They have different offices. They are on a different path than I am, but hopefully we're all trying to make it to the same final place. I think is what you mean by that, Gareth. Let me know if I read that correctly. Courtney Duffy, for me, to support the lodge before one actually joins serves a wonderful purpose. Yes, Courtney, and I agree with that 100%. I talked about this before, I think yesterday with you, actually. Yeah, no, I 100% agree that a lot of people think that if they're interested in Freemasonry, they have to join the lodge to support it, which they should. Don't get me wrong. You should absolutely support the lodge, or join the lodge if you are interested in Freemasonry. But if, let's say, timing isn't quite right, or whatever it might be financially, you can still support the lodge. You can still support the lodge in many different ways, even if you're not yet a member. You can go to social events and social nights and help clean up the lodge and help with all that type of stuff that a lodge still needs, right? And taking part in the social activities can be really special as well, and a lot of fun. And a lot of Masonic jurisdictions, like Paul, I'm guessing this is true in Michigan. Frank, you can let me know. A lot of jurisdictions are encouraging lodges to spend more time with applicants before they join, during social hours and social nights, to get a better sense of them and to let them get a better sense of the lodge, things of that nature. Gareth, so you're saying, regardless of title and responsibility, we are all equal. I think I just misunderstood a prior statement you made as all. Yeah, I think regardless of title and responsibility, we're all equal. We talk about this in Freemasonry, right? You have to have distinctions amongst men in some sense to reward merit and ability. So if you're running a race, the person who comes in first came in first, the person who came in last came in last. So they're not equal in that race, but they're equal, certainly they're equal under the eyes of morality or the law or their worth, right? One person isn't worth more than the other, in a morality or universal sense, because somebody won the race, somebody lost the race. But you still need to maintain, I think, in some way, those distinctions in terms of the journeys they're on, right? And that That way, the person who came in last is encouraged to work harder, to come in not last next time. But the ultimate morality, the way we look at everybody, I think everybody's worth is equal, whatever path they're on, or whatever title they have, or whatever responsibilities they have, if that makes sense. Paul Bear Ravenstone, yes, very much true. Yeah, I mean, and at your event in Ann Arbor, to your lodge's credit, or to Ann Arbor's credit, you had several you had several applicants there, right, before they joined to take part in the social hour, which was awesome to see. You had what? And by the way, I mentioned it on my social media, but I'll mention it again. Great chili cook-off. The one that actually was my favorite, I can't remember the brother's name now, but he came in late. It was number 2. I remember eating it, and it tasted to me like, I remember saying it tasted like New York, or how I imagine New York. If New York had a taste, that would be it. His chili. And sure enough, when I met the guy who made the chili, I found out that he was actually from New York, and he had that thick New York accent, which I thought was awesome. So yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. I was even impressed with how many applicants there were. Yeah, no, I mean, I was impressed by that as well, the number of applicants. I thought that was awesome. Manny was the brother's name. Manny, if you are somehow watching this, I don't know if I got your socials or if I shared this with you, but if you're watching this, your chili was the best. Paul, if you could let him know if you see him next time. His chili was awesome. And yeah, even though it lost, it was the best. I agree. I do think in his case, it was probably because it came late, and so not everybody got to try it. It's going to be my assumption, because yeah, it tasted to me like almost like a pizza sauce, but that doesn't do it justice, because a pizza sauce and a chili I don't think would taste good, but that chili tasted good. Right, and that goes back to this idea of all the different things that you can do in a lodge, right? The ways that you can, the fun things that you can do. And then that goes into the question of purpose. Is one of the purposes of Freemasonry to create fun and enjoyable experiences for its membership? Or is the role of the purpose of Freemasonry to create fulfilling and rewarding experiences for their membership? And what's the difference between those two things, right? I think is a very interesting question. Or is there? Can't they be fun and rewarding at the same time? Courtney Duffy, also learn as much as you possibly can about the fraternity. Manyard Edwards, 32nd New Scottish Rite podcast. I've learned a ton, which is a purpose of mine to keep learning. Yes, I'd agree with that 100%. I think that might just be a purpose in life, to keep learning, right? Gareth, what cannot be enjoyed must be endured. I feel like that's a quote from somewhere. Like, I feel that's a famous quote. But I agree with it also. Yes, what cannot be enjoyed must be endured. I think that, and there's different, I think embrace the suck, right? That's a military title. Or military motto, embrace the suck, right? It's this idea of, if something is not enjoyable or not fun, but you have to do it, then you might as well try to find a way to enjoy it. But sometimes when I think of Freemasonry, and Paul, you can let me know what you think of this idea as well. Like, not every Masonic experience is going to be enjoyable. But that doesn't mean that there's not a value in doing it. The way I often describe it is it's like exercise, right? There are some people who are probably psychos who love exercise. I am not one of them. I do not enjoy exercise. I enjoy sleeping and doing as little as possible. But I also understand that exercise is incredibly important if I want to maintain my health and my well-being, and if I want to be able to contribute as much as I possibly can to the things I care about, like Freemasonry and being a good citizen and all that stuff. I need to be in decent shape to do that. And so I still try my best to exercise regularly. And in doing so, I get a lot of benefits from it. And so even though I don't enjoy the act of exercising necessarily, I understand why it's important and I appreciate why it's important. And I think for Freemasonry, sometimes people forget that, yeah, not every experience is going to be fun. Like reading the minutes isn't fun, bills isn't fun, going to lodge when you're tired and want to stay home and sleep isn't necessarily going to be fun, but it's valuable. And I sometimes think sometimes lodges are, and I bring this to the Grand Lodge level, and Paul, you can let me know what you think of this. Sometimes lodges focus too much on trying to create an enjoyable experience and not enough in trying to create a valuable experience, because sometimes a fun experience can be valuable, but sometimes a valuable experience will be hard and will be challenging and will be exhausting in some cases, but that doesn't mean it won't be valuable. In my humble opinion. Let me know what you guys think of that. Paul Ravenstone, oh, definitely agreed. Michael Moore, good afternoon, Cam. Heads up, Pontiac will be doing exemplification of Michigan's Master Mason for kill winning. I'm going to try to make that, Michael Moore, because I have heard a few people mention that that's coming up. And I really would love to take part in it, or not take part in it, but just watch it. Having said that, November 6th, I know you work, but November 6th, I've got my official visit happening in Border Cities Lodge, number 554, in Windsor. If you can make it to that, it's 11 o'clock is when the meeting starts, but the event itself will start at 10 a.m. We're going to have some coffee, and then we're going to go upstairs for our official visit. And then we're going to have a luncheon upstairs afterwards. So it's going to be really fun. Paul, because you're right, is from Paul. Because you're right, going through the agenda and doing all the monthly reading of financials, those things are not fun, but they are valuable. Yes, I agree. And I think that's one of the mistakes that even different Grand Lodges are making, which is they're emphasizing too much. We got to make the meetings fun. We got to make the meetings fun, as opposed to communicating why the not fun stuff is still valuable. And I think that kind of is the key. Michael Moore, also Livonia United Lodge, will be holding a public installation of officers December 7th. I'll be installed. Well, I'm definitely going to make a note of that. Hold on just 1 second. I always find it interesting that you guys in the States do public installations. Looks like, I think that might be when Harmony has its installation, but we tend to do ours during the day. I'm wondering if we can hit up both. When would yours take place? Like in the evening, I'm guessing, on December 7th? We may be able to do both. Courtney Duffy, is it possible to go another round of chat today? I'm so enjoying myself. We shall see. I don't know. We'll go for, as long as people are still sticking around, we'll keep doing it. Make sure to leave a like, jump in the chat, all that good stuff. That helps other people find it. But yeah, we'll keep going, and people can let me know. Open at noon, closed tiled, set at ease, public installation at 1. Ooh, it depends when we have our harmony installation, because we may have that at the same time, unfortunately, but it'd be a lot of fun to go to it for sure. So I will see if I can, I'll see what we can do. But thank you for letting us know, and congratulations also. That's awesome. You're going to make a great worshipful master. I have no doubt. It's a hard job, but it's fun too. So we were talking before, Michael, and I don't know if you want to jump in. We were talking about what is the purpose of Freemasonry. We've had a few different answers. We've had an answer from Courtney, from Paul. Gareth was talking about it. Let me know, Michael, if you want to add, what do you think the purpose of Freemasonry is? And do you think there is even a singular purpose, or do you think there's different purposes for different people? Right, Gareth above mentioned the idea of I can never say this word right, meritocracy, which there's an element of meritocracy to Freemasonry, right? Not everybody can be worshipful master. Not everybody can be an officer. Not everybody can get different parts to do, but it's still a meritocracy, but with an understanding of equality as well, I think is the way to describe it. So yeah, Gareth, if you're still there, let me know if I got that one right. Anybody else wants to take a few minutes, jump in the chat. Let me know what you think the purpose of Freemasonry might be. And like I said, there's plenty of, and hit the like button, blah, blah, blah. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that stuff I'm supposed to say. Right. It's interesting to note that yesterday I was at Scottish Rite. We had a degree, 17th degree. But then that also brings up the very valid question, right? Which is the purpose, does the purpose change based on what you're talking about Freemasonry, as in Blue Lodge, quote unquote, Blue Lodge, or Scottish Rite, or York Rite, or Shrine, or even the youth groups, Rainbow, right? Then there's the administration of the building and everything else that comes with it. Do the purposes kind of change? Purpose: to bring good men together who would otherwise be kept at a perpetual distance, and teaching brothers through symbolism and allegory to improve themselves with the help of each other. That's a good kind of answer to that one. Purpose: bring good men together who would otherwise be kept at a perpetual distance, and teaching brothers through symbolism and allegory to improve themselves with the help of each other. When you say kept at perpetual distance, do you mean perpetual distance in terms of just they wouldn't get to meet each other were it not for the lodge? Or do you mean perpetual distance more in terms of like they may, if it's a small town, they may know each other, but they would not necessarily I'm trying to think what the word is. They would not necessarily communicate with each other or know each other well. Paul Ravenstone just sent me a picture. Wow, that's very, very cool, Paul. Is that a ring? It looks like, or on a rock. Absolutely beautiful, though. Very well done. And the detail, because it's so small as well. I just finished this yesterday for a brother in my lodge. On a tooth. Okay, I was trying. Okay, was it given? Is it your tooth? Whose tooth is it? Are you out there stealing teeth? That's still very cool, though. It's very awesome to see. The detail on it is Very, very impressive. Excuse me. As a non-Mason standpoint, but soon to be purpose is also maintain membership in lodge and stay connected to the fraternity. Nicholas Romita, happy Halloween, everyone. You're about a week early, but nonetheless, happy Halloween to you as well, sir. Good to have you on. We are live, so you can chat with us here and let me know how you're enjoying Halloween. Paul, LOL, I make crowns, implants, veneers, and the such. Okay, so you're not out there just stealing teeth from people, which is good to know. But no, that's awesome. That's very cool. I've never seen a Masonic tooth before. Do you mind if I share it on my socials? Is that okay? Like Instagram and all that. One of my favorite, actually, scary movies, because we love talking about scary movies. I will for sure, and I'll tag you in it so you get the credit for it, Paul. One of my favorite scary movies was called Darkness Falls, and that the villain there is the Tooth Fairy who steals children's teeth. So there you go. I call them tattooths. It's very clever. All right. Well, I'm going to share on social Paul's tattooths. Well, actually, I wonder if, by the way, Nicholas, let me know what scary movies you're going to be watching for Halloween. Because I know that you, like me, love to watch scary movies. All right. I'm going to share Paul Ravenstone's tattooth. Maybe. No. There it is. I'm gonna hit. Can you guys all let me know if you guys can all see that? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just shared that. That is Paul Ravenstone's work. So well done, Paul. Excuse me. Courtney Duffy, hello, Nicholas, and to all the gentlemen present. Again, hello to you, Courtney. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. It's great to have you. Nicholas, all the Alien movies. Oh, so you're not doing the Halloween marathon then, huh? There's only like, what, 30 of those movies now? I've had a great idea for years about a Halloween crossover movie. One day I got to sit down and just write that thing. Nicholas Romita, all the Alien movies, though. Good choices. Nicholas, based on your experience in Freemasonry, volunteering at the Masonic Temple and Lodge and all that stuff, and being on my podcasts, what do you think the purpose of Freemasonry is? Let me know what you think in the chat. And everybody, let me know what you think about this very, very cool tattooth by Paul Ravenstone. And Paul, like, do brothers bring you their crowns? Like, does it go to, do you have to work with a dentist? How does that work? I'm really curious. Also, let me just give a big shout out to give me one sec. I have to give a big shout out to Dr. Giggles, which was released October 23rd, 1992. So 32 years ago, 1992 to 2002 to 2012 so 32 years ago, which I think this is a great underrated scary movie. On a side note, Cameron, do you guys have events for Halloween at the Windsor Masonic Temple? Just curious, that's all. We have in the past. We had an amazing event last year and an amazing event a few years ago. And we're actually having an event at Heritage Lodge this year. Nicholas was actually going to invite you if you want to come join me for it. I don't know if we're having one this year or not, but we have had a lot of events in the past, and we've had 2 paranormal investigations there as well. So it's been great. Hello, Courtney. How are you today? From Nicholas, Paul Ravenstone. I have to work with the dentist because all the work that's done is recorded through their state dental license. Okay, cool. I was going to wonder if you took like, I guess you can't take online orders or anything or ship teeth out or ship the crowns out. But it's still very, very cool work. Michael Moore, while I have a moment, I'd also put in a humble brag that my daughter became a member of Michigan Rainbow on Saturday. Congratulations, Michael Moore, on that. Very, very awesome. Very well done. To your daughter. Rainbow is one of those organizations that's a really important and critical part of, I think, the youth groups in general are really critical parts of Freemasonry that sometimes, in my humble opinion, don't get near enough love and attention as they should. So that's awesome. Congratulations. How big, roughly, would you say Rainbow is in Michigan right now? And anybody who's joining us for the first time, please don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. It would be very, very helpful. Helps more people find the chat. Nicholas, like I was saying, here we're chatting today about what is the purpose of Freemasonry. Based on your experiences working with me in different facets, what would you say the purpose of Freemasonry is? You know, I wonder, just out of curiosity, I wonder what AI says. Nope. Just trying to jump onto this for just 1 second. Okay. Ooh, we got a lot. All right, I'm going to share this screen in a second. I couldn't tell you the size, but her assembly is small, but a large one close to us has maybe 10 to 15 active. That's awesome. Very, very cool. That's a good number. 10 to 15 active for a youth group in Freemasonry is a very good number. So good on them for that, and good on Rainbow in general. Keep up the good work. To the Rainbow girls all across the world, they do a lot of great work for charity as well in most of their assemblies. I know Fort Assembly every year does a lot of work. All right, let's see. I'm going to see if I can't share this just to give you guys an idea of what ChatGPT said, which I'm curious if you guys would agree with or disagree with. Freemasonry is a fraternal organization that aims to promote the moral and ethical development among its members. Its purposes include brotherhood and community. Freemasonry fosters a sense of camaraderie and support among its members, emphasizing the importance of friendship and mutual aid. Moral and ethical development, members are encouraged to pursue personal growth and uphold high moral standards, often through rituals and teachings that emphasize virtues like charity, integrity, honesty. Philanthropy. Freemasons often engage in charitable activities, supporting various community initiatives, education, and healthcare. So let me know what you guys think of that one. If you think those are potentially the same. While I have a moment, or if you think those are the same or different, or what you would say to those as being the purposes of Freemasonry. And let me know also if you guys have seen the movie Join or Die, which I think I'm going to share because I think that this is also something really important I want to chat about. Join or Die. It's a film. It's on Netflix, I believe. But it's about, actually, the title's more ominous, I think, than it's supposed to be. Here it is. Nicholas Romita, I have not seen that movie. I'm hoping maybe this chat encourages some people to check it out. I like the way AI phrased that from Paul. Yeah, I think AI phrased it well. But here's something I want to share. If I could share this screen for 1 second. Here it is. So we talk about the purpose of Freemasonry. That's what I've kind of been focused on this podcast. And this movie, Join or Die, one thing it talks about is how you see that the decline in support for support of and for community and civil organizations over the last several years. So, notice here, there has been a 40% decline from the 1970s to 1990s in the number of Americans who attended even one public meeting or town or school affairs in the previous year. A 60% decline from the 1970s to 1990s in the amount of picnics Americans attended annually. 50% decline from the 1970s to 1990s in the number of Americans who took any leadership role in any local organization. That could include being a worshipful master in a lodge, for example, or even an officer in a Masonic lodge. 35% decline from the 1960s to the 2020s in religious congregation membership. 50% decline from the 1970s to 1990s in the number of times Americans attended a club meeting, which again could include Freemasonry, in the previous year. A 66% decline from the 60s to the 2010s in union membership. Right, and so the point of the movie Join or Die and the book Bowling Alone, on which the movie is based, is that these declining numbers are actually very damaging for democracy and for social capital and for societal kind of fabric, which I think brings up the valid question on our end as Freemasons. Do we as Freemasons have a responsibility or purpose to be thinking about social capital, democracy, and all of those types of things when we are promoting ourselves? And should we be thinking about, for example, the damage that's done to democracy when our numbers go down? Nicholas Romita, basically that is not good then, Cameron. I agree, it's not good. I think it's very, very not good. So I'm hoping that over time we get more, I think Freemasonry has a role to play in maybe trying to turn these numbers around. But how do we do it? Right? When the problem isn't starting with Freemasonry, it's starting in the world and affecting Freemasonry. I don't know, Paul, if you have any ideas, if anybody else has any ideas on that, by all means, let me know in the chat. But I agree, Nicholas, it is not good. Courtney, if you do want to answer Nicholas's question. If you got any, if you have any questions with the paranormal, Nicholas is always the best person to talk about and to ask, because he knows about that stuff way more than I do. Although my next podcast interview, which is going to come out soon, is about the paranormal, actually, and about our time at the Paranormal Expo at the Johnstown Masonic Temple. I'll actually see about maybe sharing the screen of it. Close. Paul Ravenstone, I think as with anything future related, we should be starting with our children and our youth. Always good advice, I think. I do, but I focus on Freemasonry and hope that you will appear in Cameron's podcast real soon. Yeah, Nicholas, I'm going to be doing these, I think, every day this week at 11:30. So it'd be great to have you back, Paul, which is why I love hearing Michael's daughter being inducted into Rainbow Girls, which is a big congrats. Yes, it is indeed. I support that. A big congratulations. So well done. Anytime anybody gets involved in Rainbow or Demole or either or, it's a big congratulations. Let me just stop sharing this for 1 second. Yeah, our next episode, and I'll put it in the chat as well. Courtney Duffy, I have a ton of questions on the paranormal. It's my passion. Well, we'll have to get Nicholas back on here hopefully soon. Let's see if I could. Go to the premiere page and share this. Yeah, this is our next episode. It's with Elena Gorley, and she was Celebrate Every Step, but she does a lot of stuff in terms of like past life regressions and therapy and hypnotherapy, and oracle reading, all that type of stuff. I'm at the Johnstown Masonic Center, or Masonic Center's Paranormal Expo. But we do talk a lot in this one about, she said in her practice, because she's a therapist, she sees a lot of people suffering from loneliness and suffering from isolation, kind of related to those stats that we've shared. So it's a problem everywhere. In fact, she was saying, and Paul Ravenstone, Nicholas, Courtney, I'm not sure what you guys think of this, and if you want to add anything in, but one thing I've noticed is, like she was saying, even in her neck of the woods, she's from Pennsylvania, they're having a really hard time getting parents to volunteer to be coaches for her kids' flag football team, right? Which to me is, and that's just, I think that just kind of another example of what we're saying, right? You can't get people to volunteer to coach kids football. In Freemasonry, we're struggling to get people to attend or to join. And so I think it relates to those stats I shared and the fact that isolation is such a major problem. But anyways, if you want to check out this podcast, it's going to be on Sunday, this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I hope you guys will check it out and comment on it and all that good stuff. I'm going to put it in the chat. But then I also think Paul, Michael, even the guys who aren't Masons but are joining us, Gareth, if you're still there, Do you think that Freemasonry should be thinking about or concerning itself with these issues about isolation, loneliness? Do you think it's kind of a job of Freemasonry to try and think about those things and cure those issues? Or do you think it's just a matter of like we just need to focus on our ritual and our work and what we do well and let those other larger societal problems kind of take care of themselves? Let me know what you think in the chat. Oh, the same here. Coaches, referees. I'm actually a professional wrestling referee, just to throw that out there. Even sales at the food booths, everything. Yeah, it's just such a struggle right now across the board. Everything will fall in place for you. Trust the process, Nicholas. Just good advice. Trusting the process, which can sometimes suck, but love you, Nicholas. Yeah, I think trusting the process. It's a hard thing to do sometimes, but everything will work out. Having said that, Paul, I think you're absolutely right. As we all, it's just everywhere. It's hard to get the volunteers out the way we used to, and isolation and all that stuff. Maybe I could see that being a larger purpose. Definitely an interesting thought. I'm going to sleep on it. And maybe if you want to swing back around tomorrow, again, I think I'll be doing this again at 11:30. So maybe you can let us know what you think. Oh, I just got the November trestle board from Daylight Lodge in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is speaking of a really cool Masonic location. What I found when I visited there, I've been there once, but I loved it, is it's like there's so many little, like Los Angeles was made up of so many little suburbs or towns. There's Bel Air, there was Santa Monica, there was oh my God, I can't even think of them all now. And like each one had a Masonic lodge in it. And also, I always point this out, people don't realize this, but Jimmy Kimmel Live is actually filmed in a Masonic temple. I tried to sneak in there and I got in trouble from security. So that's a whole other story, though, for another day. But I thought that was really cool. It's the job of Masonry to look out for its brethren, a promise to each other, and mental health is just as vital as spiritual, physical, and the health of familiar relationships. Nicholas Ramita, thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that. Paul will do. Great. I look forward to talking to you more tomorrow. So that's an interesting question, though, Michael. And I think this is something that a lot of us struggle with a little bit. Is it the job of Freemasonry to look out for its brethren, or is it the job of the brethren to look out for Freemasonry? Right? What I mean by that is, I've said this before. To me, the purpose of joining anything, including joining a lodge, is to make the thing you're joining better. Right? I mean, that's ultimately the purpose of even being in the world, is hopefully to make the world better, not for self-improvement, but to improve the thing you're joining. It's kind of like, people used to make fun of this all the time, but I never understood why, right? When you're at a job interview and somebody asks you why you want the job, the joke was always, maybe would always say, well, you want the job for the money, right? Obviously, and that's it. But it's like, to me, no, you should also want the job to improve the place where you're going to be working, because you think you have a certain set of skills and abilities that can, in various ways, make that place better, and contribute something to it, right? And I think that's the other issue with Freemasonry right now. It feels like so often with Freemasonry, the emphasis and the advertising, if you want to call it that, is always about like, what can Freemasonry offer to you? Join because it's fun, join because you get to meet different people, join because you can develop skills, join to improve yourself somehow, right? As opposed to what I think the goal should be, which is join to make something better. Join because you can contribute, right? When people ask me like, what will you get out of Freemasonry? My answer for the last few years now has been the opportunity to make the world a better place. It's not about what it gives to you or the support that you get. It's about the support that you give. Is how it should be. You're very welcome, Nicholas. Absolutely, and most importantly, thank you for supporting Cameron. That's where I get the most happiness. Well, we're grateful to have you here as well, Courtney. Cameron, can I come down on Saturday's podcast? Sure. Am I going to do Saturday podcast? Let me see. Let me double check my calendar. By the way, anybody joining for the first time, if you are joining us just now, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know how you're doing and what you want to talk about. We're here chatting about horror movies, or we were chatting about horror movies for a second, but mostly it's been on the purpose of Freemasonry. And what we think that purpose might be. So let's see. Let me see if I'm going to do one on Saturday or not. I think I will. I was planning to do one tomorrow on Friday as well. But yeah, it looks like I don't have anything on Saturday. So all right, yes, let's Nicholas, if you want to join us on Saturday, by all means, we will talk about the paranormal and even some of this connection to Freemasonry. Zachary Haston, hello. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. The man or brother and sir, the man with the numbers. Thank you so much for being here. How's it going? Let me know if you just jumped on or if you've heard any of our conversations so far. We've been talking about, amongst other things, the purpose of Freemasonry, or what we think the purpose of Freemasonry might be. Courtney's mentioned a few different things, such as the purpose is to support the lodge. The purpose is to meet, which is definitely true. Freemasons need to meet. Sorry, just got on work. No worries at all. We appreciate you being here. Let us know, like we were saying, do you have any ideas as to what you think the purpose of Freemasonry might be? Do you think that there is a singular purpose, or do you think that that purpose can change member to member? That was something that came up in a few of our conversations. We've had a lot of different, if you go through the live chat, you'll see a lot of different discussions on what those purposes or what the purpose of Freemasonry might be. We also were talking about the purpose as it connects to some of the troubling trends we see in the world today. For example, the lack of participation in civil or civic organizations, the lack of volunteerism. We were looking at the movie Join or Die, which is based on the book Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam. And as somebody with the background in numbers, you probably have a lot of what's the word? Maybe some insights into the purpose based on the numbers that you've been seeing. Do you think that the numbers that you've been, like the actual metrics that we study, do you think that there's a value to that in terms of understanding the purpose. There are multiple things that people get out of it. I'll start with brotherly love, fraternity, relief, charity, and truth, educational. That's really interesting. There's a lot of so that's interesting. I like the way you start that sentence, which kind of dovetails into something I was just talking about a little while ago. Paul Ravenstone mentioned beautifully eloquent. I like those sentiments. I appreciate that. Zachary, so there are multiple things people get out of it. So when you're talking about the purpose of Freemasonry, is the purpose what people get out of it or what people put into it? Right? My idea has always been that your goal, anybody's goal for joining anything should be first and foremost to contribute to it. I gave the example, I'll give it again. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but when you're at a job interview and you're asked, why do you want this job? People would always joke that the answer is obvious. You want the job for the paycheck, for what you can get out of it. But in my opinion, yes, the money is what it is, but the paycheck's what it is. But the reason you should want a job, the reason you should want to be alive, the reason you should want to be a part of anything is because you want to make that thing a better place, right? You should want a job because you have skills and abilities that you can contribute and therefore make that workplace a better place, provide value to the job that you're going to, however it may be that you provide the value to it. The reason you want to join a sports team is so you can make the sports team better. You can be the best player you can be so the team wins. The reason that you want to be alive is to make the world a better place, however it is that you can. And the reason you want to, maybe even start a family is bring kids into the world is so the kids can make the world a better place. And so what I've always said, when people ask me, what do I get out of Freemasonry? My answer has always been the opportunity to make the world a better place. And I do believe that is truly what I believe, that the opportunity to make the world a better place exists within Freemasonry, but you have to focus on what you can give to it, not what you get out of it. Cameron, I'm so excited. I can't sit still. This chat is going great. Thank you, Courtney. Zachary, from an administrative standpoint, knowing who is coming in, who we lose, financials are all useful for us. I agree 100%, and it's great to see the work you're doing on that, Zachary, in terms of documenting those things. I know your focus is on one jurisdiction, but there's a lot of parallels between what you're seeing and what other people are seeing. Nicholas Romita, what time on Saturday? 11:30. We'll stick to 11:30, same time as usual. Maybe we can grab some breakfast beforehand, or even we'll grab some coffee at the casino, and then we'll come here for the podcast. Excuse me. Zachary Haston, people usually join for what they can get out of it, but as they're in, they usually transform into givers. That's interesting. I don't know if that's true in my experience, Zachary. I'd love to talk to you more about that. My experience is if people join for what they can get out of it, they tend to remain as kind of takers, or they kind of just bounce once they realize they maybe aren't getting what they wanted to. But the people who join because they want to give tend to stick around. I don't often see that transformation, but that could be my experience. I could be wrong. But it's interesting. Let me know what your experiences are more if you can in the chat. It's really interesting. Paul Ravenstone, I have to bounce. We'll be back tomorrow. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Nicholas, okay. Nicholas Ramita sounds good. Okay, so see you Saturday at, let's say, 10 o'clock. If we're going to grab coffee first, we should do it at 10. It'd be great to have you join. And then for everybody watching this, Yeah, at 10 o'clock in front of my building, Nicholas, and then that's a advertisement. Anybody on Saturday, 11:30, join our live chat. We're going to talk about spooky, paranormal things. Courtney Duffy, heck yeah, Nicholas and Cameron, thank you for having Nicholas back. Absolutely, I love Nicholas. It'd be great to have him back. He's a good friend of mine. Zachary Haston, ballparking it about a third come in for the charity aspect, coming to give. I do see many transform, but that may just be my experience. That's a good experience. And also it might be the community that you're from. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I find maybe sometimes smaller communities have more of a giving ethos, if that makes sense, a giving ethic to them where they're encouraged to be more giving, and then that can maybe translate into a lodge, and they may be more predisposed to that transformation. Um, could be. I don't know for sure, but uh, yeah, I think that that's a really interesting idea, interesting kind of point. Worth discussing more, that's for sure. So hoping to have you on the podcast soon, Zachary. Nicholas, in front of a building. Yes, in front of my building. Nicholas Ramita, I need people for my team. Hopefully, yeah. Well, like I said, I'm happy to help out here and there when I can. But yeah, jump on. We'd love to have you on our live stream. And again, anybody watching this, Zachary, Gareth, whomever is watching this, jump in the chat if you haven't done so yet. Let me know who you are, where you're from. Freemasonry has some interesting connections to supernatural, paranormal ideas. Recently, Johnstown, Pennsylvania was host to the Johnstown Masonic Event Center's Paranormal Expo, which I was lucky enough to attend, and it was an absolute blast. So I'm hoping everybody will tune in on Saturday, but also every day this week. So tomorrow at 11:30, Friday at 11:30, and then Saturday at 11:30. What everybody who's watching this for the first time, also, if you haven't done so yet or you're just joining us, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All that stuff helps us. Zachary, let me know. You said yesterday you were watching my interview with Brother Soap, Stanley Omar Amos Payne. Really cool guy. Let me know what you thought of that interview, and if you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, any ideas you have to maybe improve it would be wonderful to hear as well. Um, I think that in terms of my favorite trips Masonically, my most favorite trip Masonically was absolutely Glenview, Illinois, because it's just one of my homes. It's kind of one of those places that I feel like is just part of my Masonic DNA in a lot of ways. But Texas is without a doubt up there. I think Texas is an awesome Masonic jurisdiction. It's really, really cool. And so I was lucky enough to take part. So I saw some messages before that. I'm just going to share the screen quickly with Brother Payne. So he's a really cool guy as well. I really like him. Really friendly guy. So if you get the chance, I hope that you'll check out you. You type in Stanley Omar Amos Payne on the podcast, you'll or in YouTube, it should pop up. Let me try that one more time. I don't know if it's shared enough. Um, It was a good interview. Of course, I live here. I knew all that, but we definitely do things bigger and different in Texas. So it was a good interview to get out there to the world. Thank you. Yeah, you definitely do things bigger and different in Texas. Some would say bigger and better as well. I definitely think in some areas, Texas has been leading the way in terms of Freemasonry. And one of them was, without a doubt, the um, merchandise. I don't even like the word merchandise, but yeah, the Grand Lodge's merchandise and the Grand Lodge's merchandise committee. Yeah, I got a lot of really, really great stuff. So I do think Texas deserves a lot of credit for that and for the work that you guys do. I love Brother Payne. He would definitely be considered a giver. Yes, I would agree. I would agree 100% with that he is a giver. Let me see all the different interviews I've done with Texas brothers, because I've done a few and I've loved them all. I'm going to see if I can go to the YouTube studio for a second. Texas is a beautiful place. When it comes to Freemasonry, I'm waiting to hand over my petition to the lodge. Texas is a beautiful place. I agree 100%. Where have I all been in Texas? I was in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington area. A couple times. I mean, in that spot, I don't know if there's beautiful areas in it, but it's just so city based. Like there's so much infrastructure there. I will say though, the Texas Masonic Retirement Community, TMRC, is amazing. I think, and Zachary, you can let me know if you've been there before, what you think of it. But to me, it's a Masonic jewel. It really, really is. It's so amazing. And the work they do for Masons and Masons Masonic families is incredible. Get the chance, please check out the Texas Masonic Retirement Community. Even just check them out online, see the work they do. It's unbelievable. So I've interviewed, for in terms of Masons, I've interviewed Stanley Omar Amos Payne, Rit Moore, and Brad Billings, Most Worshipful Brother Brad Billings. And then I did an interview or not interview, but I did some videos at the Grace Woodward Museum at TMRC. Such an incredible spot. My lodge is Arlington Lodge. Okay, so yes, I've definitely been and worked with the TMRC gem. Yeah, a gem 100%. So I've been to the Dallas-Fort Worth area a few times. Like I said, it's one of those places where it's not, it's beautiful, but it's also very it's very much a giant city, a lot of urban sprawl, but there's so many small places in there like Euless, Texas, Webb, which are these smaller areas that you don't even feel like you're in the city. It's hard to describe it, but it's really, really cool. And then also I went to Gonzales, Texas for a 2-day, for the Come and Take It Festival, which is where I got to meet. So I guess now, according to Zachary, I was going to say I got to meet Most Worshipful Brother Billings, but I guess it's Right Worshipful. See, that's an interesting difference between Ontario and Texas. In Ontario, you keep your title. So if you were a Most Worshipful Grand Master at any given point, then you'll always be referred to as a Most Worshipful. If you're Right Worshipful, you're always referred to as a Right Worshipful. So that's really, really, really cool. That's something I did not know. So there you go. But I like Brad a lot. He was a good dude. And then I also got to attend the Texas Masonic Retirement Community's Family Day, which was an absolute blast. I loved it. Right, arriving at the TMRC, I think I put it down. Only one person in Texas is most worshipful at any one time. Okay, that is neat. I did not know that. I probably did. I'm sure somebody told me that at some point. But I don't. Maybe I just forgot. Cool though. Very, very cool. Having more than one most doesn't make sense to me. LOL. I guess yeah. If you want to talk about grammar, I guess you can only have one most at any given point in time. But here in Canada, we do our grammar a little bit differently. So, you know. But oh, sorry, Courtney. Once I join the lodge, can I visit your lodge? I'm still yet to ask. Well, once you join, yeah, just bring your dues card with you. I don't think we'd necessarily need to go through. I could vouch for you, but just bring your dues card with you, and you're more than welcome to join. Right, as you always, as you would be anywhere. The beautiful thing is when you're a Mason somewhere, you're a Mason everywhere. You know, one thing to keep in mind though is when you first join, you'll be at the entered apprentice degree. A lot of lodges out there in the world, like Michigan, for example, as a rule, opens in the third degree. They do their business at the Master Mason degree. So if you are visiting a lodge in Michigan, what you make sure that you do is you tell them in advance, even just when you arrive, that you're an entered apprentice. And hopefully what they'll do then is open the lodge in the first degree to allow you to sit in. Or at the very least, you know, start in the first and then move up. In Ontario, we do all of our business, as a rule, we do all of our business in the first degree, um, which people debate that back and forth. I don't know, Zachary, if you have any ideas or questions on that, be very curious to know. Do you have a preference? Do you think it's better to do your business in the first degree or in the third degree? My preference has always been business in the first, but different people have different opinions on that. So let me know what yours is. I'd love to know. Family Day is awesome. Literally thousands of Masons and their families go every year to that. My kids always look forward to it, as do I. Yeah, no, I was very impressed. When I went there, it was actually during an eclipse. So I got a pair of eclipse glasses, which I've kept in my Masonic keepsakes. I've got a million of them. Um, so yeah, I thought that was really, really cool as well. Just the number of Masons there was very impressive also. I'm not a Mason yet, but I'm going to shout to all you guys sincerely. Courtney, Dwayne, Duffy, Braunwood, Texas. There's no rush. Take your time. Just enjoy the process. Like you said to Nicholas, right? Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. I think. I'm just going to see because we're talking a lot about Texas, which we should because Texas is great. Let me see if I can find my Medium article I wrote about my trips to Texas. Third degree for business. In 2007, we started letting EAs into stated meetings, and it hurt our raise rates. When you say raise rates, do you mean raise from EA to Master Mason, or do you mean raise rates in terms of like raising numbers overall, just membership wise? I'm assuming you mean raising from EA to MM. Those lodges who do nothing but business lost men before they even became a Master Mason. Very useful information for me. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate it. You're welcome, Courtney. Getting EAs from EA to MM. Okay, so did those, so you say they lost men before they even became MM. When you say lost men, do you mean lost as in they stopped attending, or lost as in they stopped paying dues and were either suspended or demitted for non-attendance? Or sorry, either just stopped attending or stopped paying dues and were suspended for non-payment of dues or asked for a demit themselves. Like, was it attrition? Um, and my other question would be, so the raise rates were hurt, but what about overall participation? So did you find that after So those brothers that stuck around and got their MM to presumably take part in business meetings, did they still stick around after they got their Master Mason's degree, or did they also kind of either stop attending and participating or stop attending dues? What was the MM retention rate? Highlights of our Masonic travels, Texas. Because I'm wondering, because I mean, and that goes to one thing, here in Ontario, we tend to define retention as just, is a brother paying his dues, yes or no? And if he's paying his dues, then he's retained. Even if you never see him or he never takes part, he's not considered to be lost. I'm curious if that's the same in Texas, or how you would define retention and what you would mean by when you say, losing men. The MM retention rate did increase some. It's interesting. This might be better discussed in person instead of, I don't disagree. That's why I'm very much looking forward to having you on the podcast soon. We'll just have to schedule a date and time, because I think it'd be very interesting to see. Or we could do it in writing. As I was saying, I have my Medium page. Square and compass messed with Texas, and it was awesome, which it was. Which it was 100%. To be a Mason is to be a traveler. We at Square Campus Promotions in many ways consider ourselves to be professional travelers. These travels have taken us to many amazing places throughout North America, and if you count virtual travel, throughout the world. Over the coming weeks, we'll be using this platform to discuss highlights from these travels, starting with the great state of Texas. These are just a list of some of the Masonic lodges and buildings we visited. There's actually, we should update this, because there's a few more I've visited since. Webb Masonic Lodge, Estelle Masonic Lodge, Fort Worth, Texas Masonic Retirement Community, Dallas Scottish Rite Cathedral. I remember visiting Webb and Estelle and being impressed by the installation and the food served therein. Texas has some of the best food. Zachary, let me know if I ever go back to Texas, what's the best Texas food to eat? Or I'm guessing it's Texas is so big, it's probably relative, right? Like, I'm guessing Houston, it's seafood. Dallas, it's barbecue. Here we mentioned here, the TMRC is both a credit to Texas Freemasonry and Freemasonry in general, which it absolutely is. Remember being in awe of the beautiful facade of the Dallas Scottish Rite building. We also remember being in awe of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, its size and scope. Remember our brother and friend taking us on a road trip in his restored classic car. I mean, yeah, getting from one side of the Dallas-Fort Worth area to the other is massive. I remember thinking that, just how big it truly, truly was. By the way, we've got some people jumping in and out. If you're joining us for the first time, please jump in the chat, say hello, let us know where you're from. And if you are a Mason, we're here chatting about Freemasonry. We were chatting about the purpose of Freemasonry. Now we're chatting about some Texas Masonic experiences. But jump in the chat, as well as hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, please. It'd be very helpful. Thank you for joining us. Been to all those places. Brisket is king around here. We have a contest every year at Family Day. If you come back, I'll take you to the winning lodge. I would love to check out the winning lodge. That's makes me want to go back right away. Especially for another reason that we got winter coming down here. So it's another reason to run away to Texas when you're from Canada. One unique thing, while in Texas, our home jurisdiction held its annual communication for the first time ever virtually. That's because this was still during COVID. In Ontario, a lot of things were locked down. This meant we had the opportunity to both attend our home jurisdiction's annual communication while visiting another jurisdiction. I remember taking part virtually in the annual communication in a Denny's restaurant, which was right next to Six Flags, if I recall correctly, which was a lot of fun. We stayed in an industrial area, but even still, we're most impressed by the beauty of Texas, especially visited lodge in the more rural areas. It's impossible to say that word rural. Our next in-person visit to Texas took place in 2022, during which time we had a chance to visit Gonzales, Texas. We had an amazing time in Gonzales, celebrating the 175th anniversary of Gonzales Masonic Lodge. We were in awe of small town Texas. The friendliness of the people, the beauty of the town, the sky at night was gorgeous. I remember all the stars. Our visit coincided with the Gonzales Come and Take It festival, which meant, aside from the wonderful Masonic fellowship, we listened to amazing music, ate amazing food, played some carnival games, which I love, took some amazing photographs. The Masonic Fellowship included a wreath laying at the town memorial, celebrating heroes and freedom, a lodge meeting with a presentation by Right Worshipful Brother Gary L. Drescher on Gonzales' lodge history, and an amazing brunch at a delicious Mexican restaurant. With real Coke, by the way, real Coca-Cola. The Mexican stuff with the real sugar, which is so good. Here's some more stuff about Texas Masonic Retirement Community, Moser Valley Lodge, PHA in Arlington, Texas. So yeah, so that's just a quick article I wrote. Zachary, if you get the chance, I'm hoping maybe you can. Let me see if I can share this link. And anybody else, if you can check out that link and maybe follow us on Medium as well as our YouTube pages, that would be very much appreciated. We try to post stuff regularly on Medium as well, because it's a pretty special, we want to provide content in written form as well as through our videos, and social media in general, right? We want to try to find people wherever they're at. So I hope you guys can follow me on Medium as well, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Courtney Duffy, Cameron, I know it's a process becoming a Mason, but if you do pay a visit to Texas again, if I'm able to reach out to you, yeah, you can reach out to me. I mean, it depends where I am in Texas. I know that Texas is a giant state, but if I am close enough, then I absolutely would love to get in touch with you. That'd be great. Yesterday, I was at a event at Scottish Rite, 17th degree. We had some great food, some great time. It was a lot of fun. So let me know if you guys are up to anything Masonically, what the most recent thing is that you've been up to. Brownwood, Texas. There we go. We have the Underwoods Cafeteria Barbecue Establishment. It is great if you ever pass through. I'm curious now. Let me check this out. Underwoods Cafeteria. Underwoods Cafeteria, Brownwood, Texas. I'm going to share this screen in just 1 second. See if it pops up. Underwoods Cafeteria. I want to see this menu. That looks pretty good. And they even got a coupon. 2 half portions of any meat and 3 sides for $13.22. I should not have done this because now I am starving looking at all this food. Barbecue sauce, cream gravy, onions, pickles, pickle slices, okra. I love okra. Relish, peppers. Desserts, cobblers. I would like to check that place out for sure. You get your money's worth, LOL. That's for sure. That's my home, Brownwood, Texas. Okay, so I'm going to keep that in mind. So now I've got 2 places I got to go food wise. I've got to go to the Winning Lodge's brisket for Family Day, and I got to go to Underwood's cafeteria for their barbecue. And for I would definitely get some cherry or some peach cobbler. Where is Brownwood, Texas compared to everything else? Like, is it? If I was flying there, would I fly to Dallas? Would I fly to Houston? I feel like Dallas, right? Arlington. I feel like there's 3 main cities, right? There's like to fly into. There's Houston, there's Dallas, and there's Austin, right? Austin, Texas, of the famous Keep Austin Weird. So where would I, if I wanted to hit up Brownwood, where would I fly into? Just out of curiosity. To Dallas, Texas. All right, and then how far is it from Brownwood to Dallas, approximately? Just out of curiosity. It's definitely probably worth me. I feel like it'd be 100% worth me checking it out. To meet you, if nothing else, would be great, but also to get the chance to maybe visit some lodges there. Even if you're not a member, you could show me the lodge itself because I know you sent me some pictures of it, so that'd be awesome to see. Probably about 3 hours, Dallas to Brownwood. Okay, so for me from Ontario, that's not a big deal. 3 hours is fine. It's funny because again, this is like a Masonic thing as well as just an Ontario, Canada, US thing, right? I got some friends, I got a lot of family thanks to my dad in England. And in those places, it's like 3 hours, you'd be in 3 different countries at this point, you know? So the fact that it's just 3 hours away and you're still in the same state, never mind the same country. It's no different though than being in like Ontario, right? 3 hours, you can drive 3 hours and you are still in Ontario. You can drive 8 hours and you're still in Ontario. So for Masonic visitation, that makes things really interesting. That also makes things still in the same area of the same state. Absolutely. That also makes things interesting from like a logistical standpoint, right? Which is something I've chatted a little bit about. So here in Ontario, the one unique thing is we have like Northern Ontario, which is very sparsely populated. A lot of nature, a lot of hunting happens up there. Very, very hard in terms of like getting around, especially in winter. And so if you're a district deputy grand master and you have a Northern Ontario jurisdiction, you're just your jurisdiction is probably giant. Like it can maybe take you 3, 4, 5 hours potentially to get from one Masonic lodge to the other, and you're still in your same jurisdiction. Um, and how do you manage it in winter? The roads are such, and then you get into situations of, if the town is small enough, they may not have a hotel, they may not have a place to stay. You may end up, and I've heard of, a district deputy grand master staying with the master of the lodge at his house because, they can't travel back and forth. So that's super interesting. So that aspect of travel, right? In Texas, to my understanding, it's a little bit more developed than Northern Ontario. Like you're not going to run into the problems of roads being shut down in winter, or the only way to access a town being by plane, which is the case in some of these northern towns. But still, just the logistics of being a Grand Lodge officer, being the most worshipful for the year. Notice I didn't say a most worshipful, I said the most worshipful, because I pay attention, Zachary. Getting from like northern Texas to southern Texas and everywhere in between, I feel like presents some real logistical challenges. I also talked about that with some brothers from Alaska, with same idea, right? Alaska, super sparsely populated, some areas very, very remote, and the travel requirements put on the Grandmaster is very difficult. Welcome. We got some new people, looks like, jumping on again. Please jump in the chat, say hello, say how you're doing, say what you want. If you're a Mason, what you want to talk about. We have been talking primarily about the purpose of Freemasonry, which I always love talking about, and what you think the purpose of Freemasonry may be. But we've also been here chatting about this. We just started talking about Freemasonry in Texas because we got some great Texas brothers joining us. Food, Masonic food, which is always a topic. Green beans becoming a never-ending discussion point. So, yeah. Jump in the chat, though. Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. All that stuff helps. Share. Grab on the link and share this with others so they can find it. That would be much, much appreciated. Zachary Haston, we need over 100 district deputies to cover this state. Not surprised at all. Yeah, that doesn't shock me at all. And then I can only imagine what the travel budget is like for the Grand Master to get around. It's probably pretty high, which will be reflected in dues, right? In your assessments. So I'm assuming it's pretty impressive. Zachary, I don't know if another thing we talk about sometimes on this podcast or these live streams especially is Freemasonry in media. So I don't know if you have any favorite examples of Freemasonry in media, but if you do, please let me know in the chat. Like, I love the movie From Hell starring Johnny Depp, even though I suppose it's not the best reflection of Freemasonry in some ways. I still think it's really, really good. But yeah, let me know. And anybody else watching this, jump in the chat as well. Let me know, what do you think the purpose of Freemasonry is? I'm going to put this down back in the chat. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll give it maybe another hour or so, half an hour. We'll keep chatting. People keep kind of coming in and out, which is great to see. Courtney, it depends on your lodge that you're applying to. I mean, the rule in Ontario is 2, but there's no, that doesn't stop, any other numbers from joining as well. So, we have a lot of lodges have been trying to go beyond the typical two sponsors. So some are saying, some are encouraging more sponsors, and there's no rule that just because two is the minimum, there's no maximum. So if your lodge of Brownwood requires five, then so be it. And I think in some ways, probably the more sponsors that you get, the better. Because again, that just shows that you're taking the time to get to know people and know Masons, and know the lodge itself, which I think is always going to be of help. Just sending off a quick note here. All right, there we go. All right. In Texas, you need 2 recognition of the lodge plus 3 Masonic references we can call. Yep, so there you go. In Ontario, it's a little bit different. In Ontario, you need 2 sponsors, and then you have a committee investigate you. And that committee is of 3 people, and the committee, it's kept confidential who's on the committee, but then they will report back positive or negative, and if they report back positive, you proceed with your vote. Okay, so in Texas, you need 2 recommendations of the lodge plus 3 Masonic references we can call. Cool. So yeah, and that's probably a helpful thing. Just out of curiosity, Zachary, are those 3 Masonic references? Do they have to be from the same Masonic lodge to which you're applying, or can they be from different Masonic lodges? Or even different jurisdictions? Could they be from the states, like from a different state, for example, or even from a different country? Like, could I be a Masonic reference for somebody? Those 3 references are from any lodge. Okay, cool. So that's interesting. I wonder what that would be like if you had, let's say, a brother petitioning to, or a man petitioning to join a lodge in Dallas, and he has a reference from, say, Canada, even. That's super interesting. It might be an interesting way to kind of foster some fraternal bonds between some different organizations, right? And different Masonic jurisdictions in some ways. And would encourage maybe even visitation, right? Like you would want to, in those cases, go and visit the lodge. Right? If I somehow became somebody's sponsor or somebody's reference, and they were from a jurisdiction, I might be more interesting and more willing to, or want to go visit them, kind of thing, right? And visit their initiation and their passing and their raising, and maybe even if they became an officer in the lodge, visit their installation. For the 3 references, they can be from any jurisdiction recognized by us. Very, very cool. That's neat. I wonder if Ontario should consider adopting something like that. I think that's a neat idea. I know that you're a big numbers guy. Just out of curiosity, how often do you find, or I don't know if you've even looked at this, would you find that as a general rule, the 3 references are from the same lodge that the application is being sent to? Or do you find that there are times when they're from different lodges or different jurisdictions even? because I would think that that could make, like, it's interesting. When I joined, I feel like it was way back in the day, but when I joined, I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and my dad is a Mason there. Very, very, he's a very worshipful. What's so interesting though is I moved to Windsor, Ontario to join Freemason. Well, I didn't move to join, but I joined in Windsor, Ontario. And the most worshipful Grand Master in Manitoba, actually, because he knows my dad, he wrote a letter of support for me joining. And he said, I know I can't be his sponsor because I'm not from your jurisdiction. I can't sponsor him, but I do want to provide my support for his application. So I thought that's really interesting, the fact that, like, I did kind of have a reference in some ways, even though we don't require it. And my reference was from a different jurisdiction, but a jurisdiction that was recognized by Grand Lodge. The three are often from other lodges, people they work with, etc. If a person has moved here from another state, they sometimes are from other jurisdictions. Okay, so is the 5-person requirement, is that for both a application for affiliation and a new application, or a new applicant altogether? Because that's pretty neat if that's the case. Sorry, that's just for new Masons. Okay, cool. For an application for affiliation, is it just 2 sponsors, or is it also just the 2 sponsors? Phone call. Oh, all right. Take the by all means, take the phone call. We'll be chatting for a little bit longer. There's still some people watching us, which is awesome to see. I hope that you guys will probably stick around for for maybe another hour. Who knows how long? But please, I hope that take your phone call and you're welcome to come back. Oh, I just saw this once again on my Instagram. Chicago named best big city in the U.S. for an 8th year in a row. I'll probably share that screen. 100% deserves it. 1000% deserves it. Chicago is an absolutely awesome big city. It's an awesome city, big or small, but it's an awesome city. I sometimes get annoyed. I feel like it takes a lot of, it takes a lot of people talking poop about it, people talking shit about it, which I don't think is right, because I think it's an incredible city. I've got so many awesome pictures. I was actually just there not that long ago. Let's see if I can head over to my Instas. Speaking of America, I guess we're at early voting today. You can vote, so I encourage everybody to vote. I always encourage people to vote. Let's see. Jump on and share this screen for a little bit. By the way, if you're still watching this, hope you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All that stuff helps out big time in the algorithm. Check out this beautiful view. I got into Chicago early one morning, early a couple weeks ago. I guess it was, oh my God, it was last week. Time was flying. I got in at like 5:30 in the morning, and I went and I walked around downtown. I got this beautiful shot. Obviously, it's facing kind of, be facing, I guess, north. The bean, the cloud, call it what you want. Gorgeous. I just loved the way you see the fall colors in Chicago, right? Because Chicago is such an incredible, incredible city. We talked about how great Texas was. Chicago's up there. Illinois, I should say. Old friend Orion. So a few years ago, I can't remember when it was now. I think it was in 2011 or 12. I spent about 3 weeks in Glenview, Illinois. If you follow me on social media, you know I absolutely love Glenview, Illinois. It's one of my favorite places in the world. But at the time, I was doing a lot of stand-up comedy, and what I would do is I would basically spend the day in Glenview, usually go to the library and read. Then I would jump on a train, go to somewhere in Chicago, usually perform at an open mic, do stand-up comedy, and then I would take the train back. And usually I'd arrive back in Glenview around, usually it would be like 1:20 in the morning, and then I'd wheel back to my hotel, the Motel 6. I'd arrive at like 2 in the morning. And so at that time, every night when I'd be wheeling back, I would end up looking up and seeing Orion, the constellation, and it kind of started to feel like it was an old friend of mine, or at least a friend of mine that was always there kind of when I was wheeling up and down either Glenview or Lake Avenue. Glenview or Lake Avenue, which was the two ways I go back to my hotel. So I was just there a couple of days ago, like I said, 5 days ago, I guess it was. And this was actually taken like at 4 in the morning because I was going to catch my train back to Detroit from Glenview, from Chicago. I looked up and I saw Orion, the constellation. And so I had to take a picture of it. I really liked the way the picture came out. You see where I say, so it felt like I was seeing an old friend again. But you can see Orion, Orion's belt. Also, it's Masonic as well in the sense that Freemasonry should care with the liberal arts and sciences, including geography, including astronomy, I should say. Courtney Duffy had to grab a package from Amazon. I'm back now. No, don't. By all means, we're happy to have you join us. Don't apologize. We're happy to have you here. These were the amazing fall vibes in Glenview. Again, 5 days ago. I just love the way this tree looked like fall. Again, the colors. This was taken at the Grove in Glenview, which is a pretty amazing spot, pretty amazing park. So yeah. This was part of a trip I took to Ann Arbor, Michigan. I went to Ann Arbor for their chili cook-off. This is where Ann Arbor Lodge meets, right here, at the Zav Grotto. Or the Zalgaz Grotto Club, Ann Arbor Masonic Lodge had a meeting there, and they had a chili night. This was delicious chili and cornbread. Speaking of great food, making me hungry thinking about how good the food was. And then might as well take some time to, I've been talking a lot about Glenview. So I know if I go far enough down, I'm going to come across Glenview Masonic Temple. Definitely my Masonic home away from home, one of the places I love the most in the world to visit. I can't wait to visit it again, hopefully pretty soon. I try to get there several times a year, and it's always a real pleasure. I thought this picture was just really pretty, so I figured I'd share it. This is at my Masonic building. Unreasonable Hospitality. Everybody should read this book if you are a Mason and you get the chance. There's a lot of knowledge in here that could be very valuable to Freemasons and Freemasonry. Here's what I mentioned before, the Grove, absolutely beautiful. I've been on this path, I don't know how many times, and I'm always excited to visit. Another shot of the Grove, also absolutely beautiful. This, I think, is something important to talk about. And if anybody wants to mention, we were talking about what is the purpose of Freemasonry. I think this is one of the purposes of Freemasonry, but some people may disagree. So I'm just curious what you guys think, what you want to, if you have any ideas. But I took this picture at Rex Tavern, which is right across the street from Jefferson Masonic Temple in Jefferson, Illinois, or in Chicago, Illinois, at the Jefferson CTA stop. And I say here, amazing time last night with Oriental Lodge at the beautiful Jefferson Masonic Temple. One thing I loved is after the meeting, we all went out to a bar, Rex Tavern. I loved the roof, so I took a picture of it. Rex Tavern, and the brethren talked about how much they love Chicago. Freemasons should care about and support their communities, and that was on full display last night. So do you think that one of the purposes of Freemasonry, and there's Courtney there, thank you, Courtney, for the comment. Do you think that Freemasonry, one of the purposes of Freemasonry, is to care about and support the communities in which it's located? And what do you think that care and support could look like? Oriental Lodge, their coin, I remember going to visit it and loving visiting it. It was so much fun. Pequod's Pizza in Morton Grove, thanks to the bear. Hashtag the bear, if you know, you know. It relates to that book I was talking about, Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidera, which again, very valuable book to read if you get the chance. Oh, here's something else we were talking about, which is holding the Grand Lodge annual communication in Windsor, Ontario, what that could look like. Paralympics, that's me. I don't know if you can see it there, but I'm in a movie. The ref didn't see it. This was on a trip to Thistle Lodge after the summer break for their 3rd degree. Hosting a tour at the beautiful Windsor Masonic Temple. Yes, we do give tours, Courtney. Thank you so much. Breakfast. This was the cover of, excuse me, Haunted Houses and Scary Mysteries, which was a great book about abandoned ghost towns. And they featured a Masonic temple right on the cover, which I thought was so cool. I'm going to leave this here because I've been saying we should do something like this forever. So let me know what you guys think of this, the Christmas Lodge. I keep on planning to or hoping to take a few moments to write stuff about this, or actually write a proper script, even though I have no idea how to write a script. I think it could be fun. So let me know what you think. And by the way, if you're joining for the first time, I hope you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and jump in the chat and let me know how you guys are doing and what you want to talk about. And Courtney, no worries about grabbing the Amazon package. Things pop up, so that's perfectly fine. So yes, city reporter Alina Carter uncovers a hidden side of her late father's life when she finds Masonic regalia among his belongings. Driven by curiosity and desire on his memory, she travels to the small town of Hollybrook to cover a story on his former Masonic lodge during the festive Christmas charity gala. Initially skeptical of Freemasonry, Alina is greeted by the lodge's charismatic worshipful master, Thomas Mitchell, and a couple of colorful cast of characters, including the lodge's Jolly Tyler, Sam Clausen, who bears a striking resemblance to Santa Claus. As Alina delves into the lodge's charitable efforts and close-knit community, she begins to see the values of Freemasonry in a new light. Amid the holiday preparations, Alina grows close to Thomas and becomes enchanted by the town's Christmas spirit. Her professional and personal life intertwine as she faces a dilemma: expose her father's involvement in a way that could undermine the lodge's reputation, or celebrate the positive impact of the community. Let me know what you guys think of that, and if you think it might be a good movie. Thomas Hogaboom with the Windsor Spitfires. My brother, you are not alone. New artist alert. Jamie Greer stopped by the Windsor Masonic Coffee Club this morning. They have copies of his book there for us, which was very kind of him, and we love it. That's me in a very awesome book. That's me visiting Winnipeg. Love that shot, drone shot of the Windsor Masonic Temple. So there you go. Those are just went to the Scrum Company's Instagram. If you haven't followed it yet, I hope that you will follow it. Anybody who's watching this still, jump on the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Again, what do you want to talk about? You know, we were discussing what is the purpose of Freemasonry, which I love chatting about, but we can chat about anything you guys are interested in. So please jump in the chat. Ask any questions you want. Keep in mind, please, October 26th, Saturday, October 26th, 11 a.m. We're going to have we're having a live stream every day this week. But on Saturday, we are having one with Nicholas Romita to talk about the supernatural. So hopefully you guys can join us in for that one as well. Yeah, no, I'm happy to share anytime when it comes to this stuff. So we'll stick around for a little bit longer. Anybody still watching, jump in the chat. Like I said, let me know what you guys want to talk about. We'll see as people kind of come and go. You know, one of the fun things about these chats is that you get people jumping in for a bit and then they go away for a bit, then they come back for a bit. So by all means, I hope to see you guys still taking part in the chat. And I guess, Courtney, you can start thinking about some of those questions you want to ask for Nicholas on Saturday. This is kind of fun, just going through our Instagram. Here is yes, actually interesting you say that. I bought my dad some green tea, which was I was happy to do so. I bought my dad a bunch. His birthday tomorrow, so I bought him some tea as well as a kettle because he needed a new kettle for Christmas. Or for Christmas for his birthday. I don't know what I'm going to get him yet for Christmas. Haven't decided, but it'll be something. But is that your favorite type of tea, green tea, or what's your favorite tea normally that you drink? In the meantime, this is the Jefferson Masonic Temple, right by the Jefferson Blue Line. I've been there a million times, and I love it every time. So this is from Lurie Garden. I just love the view of seeing all the buildings through the tall grass, right? That kind of grows. I think that's a really cool shot. This is kind of right around the cloud gate. This again goes to some of the questions we were talking about before. So let me know what you guys think, right? The purpose of Freemasonry. What is the purpose? Being a Freemason, especially a traveling Freemason, means supporting the businesses and people in local communities. Yesterday, before visiting Glenview Masonic Temple, I purchased a box of macaroons from the amazing Two-Le-Jeux, one of my favorite places in one of my favorite towns. Two-Le-Jeux is one of the best places in one of the best towns. Here's the macaroons again if you get the chance to visit it, try the macaroons. They're so good. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Oh. This was at Rose Hill Cemetery and Mausoleum. I did a guided walk with the Hesperia brothers, followed by lunch at Fireside Inn. Visiting my brethren from Morton Grove Masonic Lodge, a Masonic home away from home, Glenview Masonic Temple, took part in a second degree practice. This is all about my wrestling. On me on a poster. Congratulations to Masons from Keene, Ontario for a Keene Masonic Park. Oh, so back when I was doing stand-up comedy, actually, sorry, just one sec. Bowling Alone was a very documentary that Jones on something. He had proof of it. Yeah, Bowling Alone was, I mean, it was a book. It was a very prescient, if that's the best word to use, book. I think most people would agree with that. So back when I was doing stand-up comedy, which it's been a while, but I keep wanting to get back into it, Josh Johnson was also doing open mics and stuff with me. And he has since then absolutely blown up on YouTube and just his comedy career, which doesn't surprise me because he was always super funny and super talented. But recently he posted a video of one of his sets, but at the start he had pictures of him in and around Philadelphia, including at the Philadelphia Masonic Temple, which this is a video of it here, or this is an image from the video, which I thought was really cool. I've been to Philadelphia Masonic Temple a few times, loved it every time. Shriners in Canada Day Parade. Out of focus, but some amazing fireworks on display in 2024. Different events. I think it's probably because I'm a sucker for horror movies, and so many of them take place in carnivals, but I love carnivals, especially carnivals which take part, especially the carnival that takes place just in front of my place, because I can visit it, it's 2 seconds away. But I adore taking carnivals, and I love taking these shots of it. Makes me think of summer, makes me think of scary movies, makes me think of all those good things. Visiting the Essex Masonic Temple, last ECDMA before summer. Registering to vote. Visiting Dearborn Lodge in Dearborn, Michigan. Oh, this is me taking part in some wrestling, so just watch that because it's cool. You can take a couple seconds. We still got some people watching, which is awesome, but please, by all means, jump in the chat. Let me know what's going on. Green tea only, and what is sea moss? Is that a type of drink? Is that what it sounds like? Never heard of that before. Here's a picture from Brighton, Michigan. Beautiful and awesome little town in Michigan. Orlando, Florida. Cool looking, very, very cool looking. These little guys, I don't know what they are, but they were everywhere in Orlando. More from Brighton. I got to attend the 195th Annual Communication at the Grand Lodge of Florida, also it was in Orlando, Rosen Place in Orlando. Also makes me think about all the brothers and Masons who've been impacted by hurricanes in Florida. I hope that you guys are doing well. Let me know if you know anything, if you need any help. I've only, I guess I don't like that word only. So far, I've exclusively had the chance to visit lodges in Orlando, Florida, nowhere else in the state. It's on my list. I want to visit more lodges in and around Orlando. Not just in and around Orlando, in and around Florida altogether. But so far, it's just been in and around Orlando, which I've loved. Orlando is a very cool city, very friendly people. I'm just hoping I can get to visit some more soon. And I hope every brother who was in and around Orlando, or just Florida in general, with the recent hurricanes, has been safe. But as I said, we're still here chatting. We're talking about all sorts of different things. What's interesting is this, I've got up here, National Accessibility Week 2024. This is from May 26th. The Windsor Masonic Temple, my home Masonic temple, has always worked really hard to be as accessible as possible for its membership and communities, whether it be the elevator or lift, the automatic doors, the braille signage. So all of that, we've done our best to be as accessible as possible and to be as secure as possible. And so as part of that, we always celebrate, or I try to point out, National Accessibility Week, and I try to do so in both languages, English and French, both official languages. Welcome if you are joining us for the first time. We've been chatting for a couple hours now, live streaming all about Freemasonry, particularly what we view as the purpose of Freemasonry, as well as talking about Freemasonry in different parts of the world, Freemasonry in Texas. Please jump on the chat, let me know where you're from and what it is that you want to chat about as well. Obviously, the focus is on Freemasonry, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about some other things as well. Oh, I think I got a message from my pops here. Oh, looks like, well, let's see if Dad can still make it on quickly. We'll see if Brother Harry Adamson can still join us. Hold on just one sec. I'm going to respond. We'll see if we can get him on. Let's see. Vitamin or liquid drink, you can Google it real quick. I'll be back in just one second. I'm still here. I'm just going to see if I can get my pops maybe on the live stream quickly. Which, by the way, it's going to be his birthday tomorrow. So we can all, if he jumps on the chat, we can all wish him a happy birthday. Green. Oh, I will maybe Google that in just one second. Vitamin or liquid drink, you can Google it real quick. Sea moss, rich in health. Where do you get it from? Do you get it from like a vitamin store? I guess you said you got it from Amazon, right? All right, we'll give it a couple seconds to see if my dad can jump on. The stream is going very well. Started off with a lot of people joining us, which was great to see. So we'll give it maybe a few more minutes, see if he can jump on still. In the meantime, I am going to Google CMOS. I'm not the junior warden anymore, but maybe I'll suggest that they serve them CMOS. Who knows? Let's see. All right, let me just go. CMOS benefits, okay. I guess I can share this. Let's see. Seaweed, including sea moss, is one of the best plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for health and especially so for the heart and cardiovascular system. Studies suggest that seaweed may improve cholesterol balance and act as a blood thinner, reducing the risk of heart disease. Oh, cool. I did not know that. Thank you for sharing. Nicholas Ramita, can the Masons help people that need help, like people in low income and on ODSP? It depends. I mean, yeah, some lodges will provide benevolence and support in that way. It just kind of depends on the individual circumstances. So depends lodge to lodge and what the lodge's also what the lodge's financial situation is like. Not all lodges themselves are in a position to help people out. So it just really does depend on that. Happy early birthday, Mr. Adamson Harry. Yes, happy birthday. Happy early birthday to my pops. If you're there, a few other people have jumped in the chat or jumped in and are watching. Join in the chat, say hello. Let me know where you're from. And if you want to talk about Freemasonry at all, let me know what in your mind, for example, might be the purpose of Freemasonry. One of the purposes, right, that kind of came out a little bit through Nicholas, right, can be charity and charitable work. It just depends. Nicholas, like food, again, it just depends on the circumstances in the lodge and if the lodge can help. But yeah, a lot of lodges do engage in support in that way of, a lot of lodges will more support things like, they'll support the food bank itself and they'll do donations to a food bank or they'll do donations to the mission or whatever it might be in that sense. Some lodges will take individual applications as well. Yeah, I mean, I can talk to my lodge. We'll see. But I mean, it has to go through the committee, right? It has to go through the benevolence committee, and the benevolence committee has to decide on those things. So there is a process in place if somebody in the community is needing some assistance. So it all kind of depends on that. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Just got home. I know how busy you are with all sorts of different stuff. We were busy last night as well, but it went really well, I thought, yesterday. I didn't stay for much of it. I was there at the start for the prayer, and then I went across the street to grab drinks and kind of help a little bit get the food ready, or at least heat the food up, I should say. Um, but yeah, from what I saw, the rest of the night seemed to go really well. Also, I think Glenn Teskey did a good job organizing it. The food was really good. I will say that. I thought the food was delicious. So well done to Constant Owapo on that and on the food. Um, well, yeah, the next one is the 18th degree, right? So well, we got so much more before then, though. We got Border Cities Lodge official visit. Um, we've got the Border Cities Lodge official visit. We've got elections for Harmony Lodge. Um, so there's going to be someone broke into Constance's car. That sucks. Was anything stolen from his car? Courtney Duffy, I'm closing out. Much love and much respect, Cameron. Enjoy the Chinese. Enjoy the takeout. I hope that it's awesome. I hope that you enjoy the takeout. Michelle Broussard, yes. What was taken? Anything irreplaceable? Oh, but did he leave the door unlocked, or was his car damaged at all? But that sucks. I made a mess. Good, good. I'm happy there was no damage, and I'm hope nothing was stolen that was serious or that he can't replace. Okay, that's just. I think maybe in your message, it might be worth reminding people lock your doors. I mean, to my knowledge, no cars have ever been damaged in the parking lot or like windows broken. But if cars are left unlocked, then yeah, people will go through and steal stuff. So you got to make sure to lock your doors. Worth mentioning, and also we can. Okay, good. So it sounds like this was one of those situations of no harm, no foul. Well, I mean, they made a mess, which sucks, and it always sucks when your stuff gets broken into. But at least his wallet wasn't stolen, and if all there was a mess, then that's good. So we should probably mention that, though. Hey, Dad, how's it going? Welcome. You've been quite the good Samaritan today, giving Our Lady a ride to the bus stop. That was very nice of you. Hope that the banking went well. Hope you're feeling well. I know you said you got both of your shots. I'm still going to get both of my shots soon. I keep planning to, but haven't got it done yet. But good. Welcome. And a few people have said it, but I'll say it as well. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday. You're saying you got your kettle. Which I figured getting you a kettle made sense because I got you when I was visiting. I got you all those teas, so makes sense to get you a kettle as well. So now you can enjoy all of the different types of teas I got you, and it's a new kettle that's not so. Some of your kettles are a little bit beat up, shall we say? So I thought you might enjoy a new one. And Michelle, working on your message. Notice this afternoon. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got to get I got to get the stuff sent out for Harmony, and I got to get the stuff sent out for Windsor, for Border Cities Lodge. Tomorrow and Friday at the hospital, they're doing the shots. Yeah, I think they're also doing them at Shoppers. I'll figure it out. I'll see. But it's on my list for sure. But yeah, Dad, any plans for your birthday tomorrow? Anything you got coming up that you're planning to do? I'll give you a call. I'm going to do this live stream again tomorrow, but I'm definitely going to give you a call as well. But I hope you have a great birthday. It also looks like our brother Randy Sanders, some of you know him from St. Louis, is going to be doing a guided meditation tomorrow morning via Zoom at 11 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, which would be 12 o'clock Windsor time. What time is? Well, anyways, I'm assuming you guys are on the list, but if you're not, Michelle, I'm going to forward this to you. And actually, I'll forward this email to Dad as well, so you can see it. Might be something you guys are interested in. Maybe I'll see if I can do the live stream quickly, and then I'll go from there to maybe taking part in the guided meditations, which could be a lot of fun. Yes, it was on my way. The banking was putting money in. The kettle was good as the old one. I had a bad cord. Yeah, that's why I figured I'd get it for you. And then I figured you could, the tea I got you, you could have that as well. Let me know if you had all the different teas yet and what your favorite type was. I got you. I forget all the different types. It was Earl Grey. It was green tea. It was a couple other ones. But yeah, I knew the kettle was bad. That's why I figured you might need a new one. So I'm happy. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will enjoy it. I mean, if you've used it so far, let me know how it worked out for you. In the meantime, anybody watching this, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and all that good stuff. Like I said, we're going to do another one tomorrow, another one Friday, and then another one Saturday at 11:30 for each one. Let me know about the food. I will, but we got to go through, like I said, we got to go through the process of talking to the lodge. So we shall see. But I can't make any promises. The lodge has to, like I said, there's a process for any group, right? So we'll see what we can do. And Dad, let me know if you have any plans for your birthday, what you got going tomorrow. Maybe we'll all sing happy birthday to you tomorrow on the live stream when I do it. Not all of them, but I have trouble picking out the best ones because they are all good. Well, that is that's good. I'm glad that they're all good. See, I used to drink way more tea. Now it's always just drinking coffee and stuff. But I used to drink tea all the time. I think, though, if I had to pick, I prefer coffee now. If I had to decide. Obviously, because I love coffee. Michelle knows I drink a ton of coffee. We actually ran out of coffee yesterday at the Masonic Temple, so I got to go get some more. today. I was going to swing by because we've got a school meeting, the Learning Center, and I figured I would join just to make sure everybody's still good with the system and how it works. Looks like we still got a lot of people watching, so by all means, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know what you want to talk about. Dad, Michelle, what we were chatting about before was we were asking people what they thought the purpose of Freemasonry was or is. So let me know, Dad, Michelle, if you have a definition as to the purpose of Freemasonry. Michelle Broussard, get Cam a coffee IV bag. I agree. I would take an IV bag of coffee happily. As we should all, because coffee is wonderful creation. I find a lot of lodges don't serve coffee with refreshments, though. Which I think they should, by the way. I'm just going to say it. I think that they should. If you're a Masonic lodge, you should serve coffee. Just checking some stuff right now on social. One of our brothers, a guy called Constant, I guess. Thank God the car wasn't stolen and nothing was taken, but they did make a mess. So that sucks. But I'm happy that nothing was stolen and that everybody's okay, which is the two most important things. Actually, speaking of speaking of hospital, which I was mentioning, maybe tomorrow if they are doing the shots, it may be worth going to the hospital to see if I can visit Robert because they haven't visited him yet in the hospital. We still got to get Mary to see if we can get her artwork on display. We have the current guys on display for another 2 weeks or so, I think, and then we're going to have space again. So it'd be great to have another artist on display in our building. I also got today the Clarence F. Smith Daylight Lodge trestle board for November. They always have cool stuff happening in it. They're talking about giving thanks. No plans yet, but I might meet up with some friends. We saw the person on video. Okay, good. At least you saw the person on video. So hopefully you can send a picture of it to, the police, at least as a note. So it's there. And if there was any damage and insurance needs it, you can send it to insurance as well. No plans yet, but I might meet up with some friends at the Legion. I got a happy birthday wish from Gordon, who I worked with in England 50 plus years ago. I'm surprised that he remembered. Oh, you're a memorable fellow, so of course you remembered. Great, I have her contact if you need it. Oh, for Mary? Yeah, we'll have her get in touch with me or give me a call. I mean, we even have some space now that could be used. So if they need it, if they do, if Mary even wants to put her stuff up earlier, she certainly could, and there'd be no problem with doing that. So yeah. The person checked every car in the lot. Yeah, I'm not surprised. What time was it around? Because I was watching the monitors earlier to make sure everybody got in and stuff. And around 7:30, there wasn't anybody checking the cars, but it could be later as well. It's because I think the monitoring doesn't start till 11 o'clock too, is one of the problems, right? Like that's an interesting thing about security monitoring. It's first thing in the, like, we would check at 11 o'clock, but earlier we don't, which kind of, I wonder if they need to do it earlier even. But at least, again, you've got the picture, so you can, even if it's not clear, I still send it to the police. I'm sure Dan Chamley will. And you can go from there. But yeah, by all means, everybody welcome. I know we got some people jumping in and out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you guys are doing and anything you guys want to chat about. We're still here for a little bit longer. So we've had a great turnout, a lot of really great conversations. You guys can go and check out the live stream we've done so far. And you can kind of see all the different conversations and answers to some of the questions we've had. It's been really good. Been a lot of fun. We'll give it a bit more time, see if anyone else jumps on and has any, is able to give, for example, the answers to the questions about what is the purpose of Freemasonry, or what do you think the person of Freemasonry is, and anything else you want to chat about. We're here to talk, like I said, about Freemasonry first and foremost, but that doesn't mean that's all we can chat about. There's plenty of other things to talk about, and I'm happy to stick around for as long as you want to. For example, I have to give a bit of a shout out to one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Dr. Giggles, which apparently turned 32 years old today. So that's two birthdays we're celebrating. We're celebrating my dad's birthday a little bit early, maybe tomorrow. And we're also celebrating the birthday of Dr. Giggles. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. It is on October 23rd, 1992. Dr. Giggles was released in theaters, directed and co-written by Manny Kodos. So there you go. One of my favorite scary movies released today. It's nothing to do with Freemasonry, but I just thought it was cool. People have nothing better to do with their lives than breaking into people's cars and homes. Yeah, it's unfortunate that people are like that, but like everything else in the world, right? You just kind of got to keep a positive attitude and trust the process. And just be thankful that nothing was stolen and nobody was hurt, which are the two most important things, I think. Right? That's kind of what matters the most. Although, again, I do think the more Freemasonry grows in life, the better. The more Freemason you have in the world, the less these type of things will happen. At least I would hope so. That would be kind of my goal. Because I think Freemasonry can create stronger communities. But yeah, we're still here. So if you're still watching this, jump on, say hello. Let me know what you guys want to chat about. We've had a great discussion so far talking about what is the purpose of Freemasonry. We'll maybe give this another 20 minutes or so, do a 3-hour live stream. Which has been, like I said, it started out really, really strong as well, which is great to see. And hopefully it stays kind of strong like that. Tomorrow we'll do another one. And again, hopefully that one is strong as well. And then on Saturday, it's going to be me and Nicholas talking about Freemasonry and the supernatural or the paranormal. We had a great interview with, speaking of supernatural and paranormal, we got Dr. Giggles here. We had a great interview a couple weeks ago with the Johnstown Masonic Event Center and Expo, which was a blast. And then today, or yesterday, we interviewed Elena Gorley, who worked at or presented at the Supernatural Expo. We talked about her work in the supernatural and what she thought of the Johnstown Masonic Event Center. And that is going to be released on our platform on Sunday. So I'm hoping if you guys get the chance, you'll check that out for sure. In the meantime, if you're just joining us, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All that stuff helps other people find this podcast really well, or it helps increase the reach of it. So it helps us out a lot. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys hit the like and subscribe button. And we'll probably go for another, like I said, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Jump in the chat though. Let me know what you want to talk about. I will leave maybe a link to the upcoming video, the upcoming podcast episode. I'm going to stop sharing this. Or I think I did above, but I can leave another one. But in the meantime, anybody who's joining us for the first time, if you'll hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let me know what you want to chat about. We are here chatting about Freemasonry, which is my favorite thing in the world, but that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of other fun things to chat about as well. So join us in the chat. We talked about kind of the purpose of Freemasonry. I've been talking a lot about Texas Freemasonry because I'm working on getting a brother in who's been focusing a lot on researching statistics and providing statistics and statistical analysis as it relates to Freemasonry in Texas and some of the trends that they're seeing. But let's see if I can find, well, actually we talked about Florida as well. So let me just pull this thing up. But yeah, Nicholas, I agree with you. It's unfortunate that that type of stuff happens. Like everything else in the world, though, there's got to focus on the positives. All right, Freemasonry amongst palm trees. To be a Mason is to be a traveler. We at Caregivers Promotions consider ourselves professional travelers. These travels have taken us to many amazing places throughout North America, and if you count virtual travel throughout the world, we use these platforms to discuss highlights of and from these travels. I think the most beautiful Grand Lodge I ever attended was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Orlando, Florida is a close second. I love the idea of Freemasonry amongst palm trees. This is kind of a good quote, I think, that relates to the importance of Freemasonry. If I'm an advocate for anything, it's to move as far as you can, as much as you can, across the ocean or simply across the river. The extent to which you can walk in someone else's shoes or at least eat their food or sit in their lodge is a plus for everybody. Travel always puts me in a contemplative mood. Today is no exception. But I think this quote, maybe that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. Every time I try to have some type of theme for my travel, for my live stream, maybe tomorrow will be travel, the importance and the value of traveling. Congratulations to the Grand Lodge of Florida on an amazing annual communication and a wonderful time. Which, yes, I agree completely. It is an absolutely wonderful time. It's so beautiful. Like, let me see if I can share. Shouldn't get copyrighted because it is my video after all. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Let me just see. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm going to try to share this screen. Oops. Share this tab. This was taken in Orlando, Florida. Let's see. All right. So when we talk about how beautiful Orlando, Florida is, and Florida in general, nights like that kind of demonstrate what makes it so beautiful, I think, or one of the things that makes it so beautiful. Maybe we'll go for another 10 minutes or so, see if anyone else joins us in the chat. Anybody else wants to say hello? We still got some time. We had a GP meeting last night, and the Christmas party for the kids was discussed. I hope you guys have one. Christmas parties are great. It'd be wonderful to see. I'm actually going to be, speaking of Masonic events, going to Heritage Lodge again soon, which will be special and a lot of fun. Hold on just 1 sec. Just going to send a message to some people. I think something's going. I got a message on Facebook, which I'm going to respond to, all about reffing, which I love being a professional wrestling referee. I don't think my dad expected me to ever become a professional wrestling referee, so he's probably pretty surprised about that, even though I remember watching it a lot when I was a kid and loving it. I don't know, Dad, if you ever imagined I'd be doing that. Let's see. All right. There we go. Sending out messages. But yeah, I agree, Nicholas. I wish people had better things to do. But there's, like I said, the other thing is positive. I just showed that awesome video from Florida where I was attending the annual communication in Florida, the 195th annual communication in Florida, which was a lot of fun and a really cool spot. Um, Rosen Point. We'll give it a few more minutes, see if anybody else jumps in the chat and joins us. Like I said, we've been talking a lot today about the purpose of Freemasonry, or what we think the purpose is. We had some great brothers join us from all over the North America primarily, but we had some brothers from Texas, which was awesome. We had some brothers from Manitoba, some brothers from Michigan, Ontario brothers as well. We also have some good friends of the chat. Nicholas is going to be on my chat in a couple of weeks. Or not in a couple of weeks. Nicholas is going to be on my chat on Saturday to talk about the paranormal and supernatural. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys. We'll give it a few more minutes though. See if anybody else jumps in. And yeah, if you're just joining us for the first time, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, but also take a few minutes to jump in the chat and say how you're doing and what you guys want to talk about. Been a great turnout in terms of numbers of people who've been joining us. So that's awesome to see. And I really do appreciate it. Haven't had Bucharest Red on for a while. I'm hoping he's still there and can join us soon. We'll give it, like I said, maybe 5 more minutes, see if anybody else jumps on and wants to chat and what you want to talk about. Otherwise, I got a ton of Masonic work I got to do. I got a ton of work I got to do. Please also don't forget to check out our Patreon account. Every little bit helps. So if you can support us on Patreon, I would really, really appreciate it. We'll just see if anybody else jumps on. We'll give it 4 more minutes. If you are just jumping on for the first time, say hello. We'll give it 3 more minutes. And then I look forward to doing another live stream tomorrow at 11:30 once again. And don't forget, I'm just waiting for a couple more minutes, see if anyone else jumps in the chat. Although don't forget also, check out our Podbean account as well, which are always a really important thing to check out. Let me see if I got it here. We also show all of our episodes, not all of our episodes, our older episodes are on Podbean, but I'm hoping to put some newer episodes on soon. Let me just see if I can log in and see how we're doing. We got over 5,000 views, which I appreciated. Yeah, 5,263 over the however many years it's been since doing it on Podbean. All right, so I think that since nobody else is jumping into chat, we will end this stream for today, but we'll be back tomorrow at 11:30 as we are going to be every day this week, and we'll keep it going. All right, thank you guys so much.